Remember, we are trying to leave the lead. And number 5, we must overcome discouraging remarks. M. Scott Peck begins his best-selling book, The Road Less Traveled, with these words: life is difficult. Unfortunately, a lot of people walk as though life is generally easy, expecting things to be easy. I regret to tell you I'm not a prophet of doom, but the Bible itself does admit that a man born of a woman is of few days and they are full of trouble. The Lord Jesus himself admitted every day has its own evil. How would Jesus say such a word? Every day has its own evil. So don't bother about tomorrow. Deal with the challenges of today. So if you think life is not difficult, you're contradicting every known philosophy. So let me put it in your own language. A friend will walk out on you. I dare even say, sometimes a spouse will walk out on you. A child you paid school fees will come back and call you names of all domestic animals. A petrol station on loan can go on flames. I have a friend by name Terry Mugai. She was affected in Westgate. See, during the terror attack, unfortunately, many people who went through that ordeal were able to keep pictures as reference of why they failed. But she knew what I'm saying. Life is difficult. She chose not to mourn her history. She chose to start the biggest salon at Lavington Green. It is the biggest Ashley's outlet. And she turned her lemon into lemonade. At the meantime, most of them had a good excuse and reference point of where they failed. Turn every curse into a blessing. Don't allow anyone to determine what you can or cannot do, be or never become. It is possible in our midst here, there is someone hearing my voice whose father told him or her, you'll never amount to anything. You will never make it in life. It could be a stepmother. It could be a mother-in-law. It could be a spouse who left you and they predicted your doom. Hear my voice today. Do not empower anyone on this planet to determine your value. Do not empower anyone to determine what you can or cannot do, be or never become. You are the captain of your soul. You draw your graph. You determine your fate and your future. God has put in your hands the ability, the capacity to determine how high, how wide, how far you will go. So turn every curse into a blessing. Nobody will ever go anywhere if you are to listen to naysayers. Treat criticism as feedback and move on. Don't let it be your definition. People will always be opinionated, but that should not direct your destiny. If you allow those words to be fulfilled in your life, you confirm their prophecies of doom. So the easiest way to frustrate their efforts is to put more energy on what they said will never succeed. Number 6, past success. One dream killer, one discouragement, one thing that destroys people from moving on is what they have already accomplished yesteryears. There are a lot of Kenyans, a lot of people around the world who have very good stories about what they did yesterday and last year but one. There are some people who like quoting their degrees. Maybe you have gone to a lawyer's office or a doctor's office and they parade their degrees in the office for everyone to see. Those degrees don't treat you when you are sick. We know a doctor right now, not by the papers they have, but by the testimonies of the patients who pass through their hands. There's nothing wrong with what you've done in the past, but thank God for it, celebrate it, move on. Stop that song of singing what you did yesteryear. Did you realize that our God is a progressive God? He keeps moving. And you're meant to be progressive. You're never meant to remain quoting. You see, regurgitating on the old stuff. Can you imagine if you came for one meeting after another, and the only thing we tell you is just what I'm discussing today? It's okay to repeat once in a while a few things for emphasis, but you expect us to be progressive. In 1855, Bishop Wright stood on an Anglican church with a very good sermon entitled The End of the World. In his sermon, he persuaded the audience that the world is coming to an end because the world has already discovered everything. There's nothing that has not been discovered. Can you imagine someone making such a claim, 1885? Two young men at the end of the church, his own grandsons, decided to challenge the sentiments of the bishop. At the end of the service, they came and told him, we don't think man has discovered everything. They said, what do you think man has not discovered yet? Man has not discovered how to fly. And the bishop said, young man, you do not understand the ways of God. Had God intended man to fly, he would have put for him wings. A couple of years later, the two young men, popularly known as the Wright brothers, discovered the aeroplane and helped man to fly. There are many times each one of us has been tempted to quote our past. You can have the best business, and guarantee you we have seen this, and 5 years down the line it comes down overnight. Because we were never meant to relax on the laurels. We were meant to keep progressing, to keep making progress. We have giants that went other way, speaking about their past success. What is my suggestion to you? Please, I beseech you, let's not discuss about what we did so well yesterday. Let's focus on what we can do today and tomorrow. Number 7, past failures. Perhaps one of the greatest tragedies are the mistakes that we did yesterday. And we judge ourselves so harshly that every other person is able to forgive us except ourselves. Let me prove to you. How many in this place will humbly admit, this is a harsh way to put it, you're working for someone else? Sorry, for real, I know it's a harsh way to put it. Whether it's a bank, whether it's a company, whether it's the government of Kenya, county government, how many would humbly admit that they're employed somewhere? Humbly admit. Thank you so much. Among those who lifted their hands, how many would humbly admit they have ever tried a business which came down? Okay, awesome, awesome. Look at these people. I've seen two people side by side, one running a boutique or a restaurant, one closes, one succeeds. Same business, same location. So it is not the choice of the industry. Address the issues. Let's go to number 8. Environment, environment, environment. I'm going to ask you right now to do me a favor, please. Very humbly. You have a booklet that you are given. Would you please write for me on that book your 3 best friends? And don't write your spouse. Don't write your son or your daughter. Don't write your mother, your sister, your brother. Don't write your relatives. Who are your 3 best friends? Please. Don't show your neighbor just in case they don't qualify to be in that list. That's your character. Of course, some of you don't like that list. You're in denial. You think denial is an Egyptian river. It's very easy to preach this message to teenagers, but we don't reflect ourselves. I dare tell you today, you cannot perform in a manner that is inconsistent with your level of association. Your friends form you, and you're formed by your friends. One of the reasons we want to form this club is for you to enhance your level of association. Now look at me. Today, I want you to look at yourself as somebody in a play. You're the main character. You're the main actor. On the 12th of August 2015, God spoke to your life. My role perhaps will be over. Many of us will continue together, but I don't know. Perhaps some of us may not be able to walk this journey. But you came just because of the message today. And that's my role in your life. You're the main character. The unfortunate bit in Africa, many of us don't know when to let go of stale relationships. So we hold on to high school friendships, college friendships, or even work friendships, and you're not able to move on. Move out of it with no apologies. Because you will never perform in a manner that is inconsistent with your level of association. If you're still hanging out with guys who are not at your level, whether you're conscious or not, you're going down. It has been done in enough research that you're always an average of your 3 best friends. So if they're below you, I guarantee you without your knowledge, you're far below your performance. If you changed that level and went to another level, your own dogmas will be challenged. Your own perceptions and attitudes will be challenged. The way you're running business right now and your career life will be challenged. Yes, you could be in senior management and you're in this place, but perhaps you could be a CEO right now. I've had CEOs who are 36 years of age or 34 because of just changing their friendships. And some of you listening to me physically change their environment, physically, from where you live. You form your friends and they are formed by you. Your future is intertwined in their future. You cannot perform in a manner that is inconsistent with your level of association. So challenge you after this meeting, Be deliberate about your friendships. Don't let the river take its course. Be deliberate. Be very intentional. You see, a lot of people have good intentions about success, but they are not intentional. And that's the challenge I'm throwing to you. Number 9, traditions. Traditions. Most of us are safe with doing what we have always done, the way we have always done it. We have a case study here of Telecom Kenya. Let me refresh your memory. They had the privilege of the national goodwill, heavy infrastructure, huge network. Factually speaking, Safaricom was just a department in there. This was the sleeping giant that is on its way to its deathbed. Why? Traditions. When the world was crossing over to technology, they were still insisting on putting some wires into your house. And the world had shifted beneath them. There are many times we insist on how we saw things being done at home or in the marketplace, and we are resistant to learn new ways of doing things. The easiest way of overcoming traditions is being exposed. Travel to distant lands. It will cost you something, yes, but please go visit. Just go see how things are being done. And I guarantee you it will change your view of life, your perceptions, your worldview. Enlarge your space. Don't insist on what you've already known. Challenge your conventions. Everyone who was able to progress in business or in life was exposed. And the difference is literally on what you know. If you see someone doing better than you're doing, chances are there's something they have heard which you've never heard. Chances are there's a place they have gone you've never gone. Chances are they have some exposure you are lacking. The greatest difference on this planet is not how intelligent we are, but it's the information we have. It's what we know. Sometimes it's hidden in tips. Sometimes it's hidden in books. Sometimes it's hidden in a live audience like this that just challenges your traditional way of running business. Number 10 and the last one. Other people's opinions. Other people's opinions. In 1952, Jonas Salk discovered polio vaccine. When he was working on it, people told him he will never succeed. When he made some breakthrough, they said it was not important in the first place. When he succeeded, they told him, we knew all along you're going to make it. Is that familiar? You know, someone went in a supermarket and decided to exchange the price tag of commodities. So pick the price tag of a motorbike and put it on sugar. The one on salt, put it on mattress. The following day, guys went into the supermarket and bought expensive gadgets very cheaply. It took almost 4 hours before the owner of the supermarket realized that things have been bought at a phenomenally low price. And the owner of the supermarket said, that guy is sharper than a crook, than a robber. He was able to rob the bank. By the way, it's a true story. This is a true story. It was an inside job of a guy who wanted to leave the supermarket. He was working in there. He decided to steal in a crafty manner. Looked for people. Plus, here don't care about the price. They just pinch, tap, pap, pap. Before they realize, these prices look funny. A lot of things were already stolen. Ask your neighbor, has somebody changed your price tag? Have you allowed someone to define you? Don't allow anyone to define you. Have you ever realized every time you try to do something, people give opinions? You know, one of the things I learned long ago, when you do the right thing, people will criticize you. When you do the wrong thing, people will still criticize you. Do the right thing anyhow. Don't consult naysayers. If somebody has never gone to try a certain business, call it microfinance, why are you even consulting them in the first place? You can consult Kenya on broad business angles, but if you want to be specific, go to people who are in finance. Go to people who tried. This is your take-home message for the first session. Look at my eyes. Stop writing, look at my eyes. I have an axe. I want to cut down a tree. I want to cut down a tree. I want to swing my axe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I keep the axe down. Today is Wednesday. Tomorrow is Thursday. Same tree, same spot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I keep the axe down. Friday, same tree, same spot. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Please speak to me for once. For once, speak to me. The tree will eventually fall. Mark this. Some trees will take 2 years. Some trees will take 2 months. Some trees will take 2 weeks. But surely, as the day follows the night, the tree will come down. The challenge with entrepreneurs in Kenya, today they cut this tree, tomorrow they cut this tree, next week they cut this tree. The hands are full of blisters, but no trees coming down. They are swollen, but no trees coming down. In April, I was concluding a major training I was doing for KCB called Blue Ocean Strategy. And in that specific meeting, there was a gentleman. People did the introduction. There were many of them. There were over 100. I was keenly listening to the introductions. And one gentleman, I picked him up. I told him to stand up. And I told the regional manager, who is now the senior of the branch managers, and I think my brother Roy here may be knowing her, Jane is here. I told Jane, this gentleman must be a millionaire, and I want to use him as an example. And a very good gentleman, characteristic of Africans. He didn't want to talk about it. You know, humility in Kenya, you don't talk about what you own. So he didn't want to talk about it. So Jane stood up to rescue him. Jane is a friend of mine. She stood to rescue him and said, let me confirm to you something that will shock you, Kenyanjui. He's not just a millionaire. Let me tell you what you may not know. 20% of our deposit in my account, in my bank, the biggest in Mombasa, is his money. Can you imagine a single individual holding 20% of the deposit? Then they asked me a question, how, Dr. did you identify this guy? I said it is so simple. When you people are doing introduction, you talked about 10 businesses you're doing. This man, since the age of 19 to the age of 66, he has done one thing, tea. He exports tea. From the age of 19 to 66. I don't need science rocket to know that the man must be doing well. That's the difference. That's the difference. Every day tea. Every day tea. Let me tell you, you can succeed in anything you choose, but you can't